know that you don't like to talk about your life, but a guy with a freaking machete for an arm just chopped our butts in half.
All my life, I've tried to forget my past. My dad, in the Ten Rings.
On September 3rd,
you were meant for greatness. Don't hide who you really are.
I'm nothing like you.
Hell yeah. Who are you?
Run it!
And that's not who I am. A Marvel legend.
DJ Snake, everybody scream!
Will rise.
You got this.
Thank you.
You can't outrun your destiny.
My name is Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
Shang.
Sean.
Shang.
Sean.
S-H-A-N-G. Shang.
That's what I said.
Run it. Marvel Studios' Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Rated PG-13. In theaters September 3rd.
Welcome back, everyone. Marvel released a new Shang-Chi trailer video with a whole bunch of new Abomination scenes, so I'll explain his history in the MCU after the events of The Incredible Hulk, where he's been this whole time, and how this movie crosses over with the events of Doctor Strange 2: Multiverse of Madness. I'll explain the new Marvel Phase 4 timeline, because since Loki, WandaVision, Falcon, and Winter Soldier, the timeline has gotten pretty crazy. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. We're in the middle of Marvel What If episodes right now. There's a bunch of big stuff coming up later this year, too. We're still doing the weekly giveaway for Disney Plus memberships. Details about that down in the description below. During the trailer, there's a lot more footage of Shang-Chi and his father, the Mandarin. You see a lot more footage of him rallying his army in front of that huge wall carving depicting the ancient village that sits between the lake here and the special seal that the great protector dragon seems like it's protecting. You see him use the power of the Ten Rings a bunch more, like you can actually see the rings around his arms here as he's fighting his father, the Mandarin. The whole idea of the movie is him learning about the true history of his family and his connection to the Ten Rings of Power. And in the trailer, the Mandarin says, now the Ten Rings are calling to you. So he's going to learn about his special connection to them and the way that they're sort of changing them for the MCU. They'll be a little bit different from the comic book version of the Ten Rings. They also have that funny tag scene calling out the true pronunciation of his name, like, wait a minute, how do you pronounce it? I've been saying it wrong this whole time, all these years. But speaking of dragons, getting to the abomination of it all, a lot of you were asking why the abomination kind of looks a little bit like a dragon here with the fins and why his appearance changed. So if it wasn't clear or you haven't read a lot of classic Hulk comics, the Abomination, Emil Blonsky, actually looks like this in the comics. The Shang-Chi movie version of Abomination is the comic book accurate looking version. I think a lot of people were just confused because it's been so long since they've read those classic Hulk comics, or you just haven't seen Abomination in a long time in the comics. The main reason why they didn't make him look like this during Incredible Hulk back in 2008 was the director said that he tried to argue that the Hulk would have snapped the fins off during their first fight. And I also think that they were trying to really play it safe with how weird they got with that movie. Everybody remembers the story about how they were on the verge of bankruptcy. If the first Iron Man movie and the Incredible Hulk movie didn't perform at the box office, they were going to go bankrupt and lose all their characters. Cut to present day, you have Alligator Loki, probably one of the most popular characters to come out of the Loki series. In fact, I'll go so far as to say is that the weirder the Marvel series have gotten in this past year, the more popular they are. That's why Loki is a little bit more popular than WandaVision, and WandaVision was more popular than Falcon and Winter Soldier. But in the MCU, they like to keep the changes to characters across the timeline in continuity. So the in-universe story reason why Abomination looks so different now is just because his gamma mutation just continued to evolve over time at a slower rate. Also, the Hulk changes his form based on different factors. Based on how mad he gets, he can also turn into Professor Hulk, which looks different physically from his Incredible Hulk form. So if Hulk's body can change its Hulk state form at various times in the MCU, so can Abomination. The difference with Abomination, though, is that he can't change back into a human. He's trapped in this form. I know during the preview video for the She-Hulk series last year, when they announced that Abomination was coming back during that, they just showed Tim Roth's face, along with Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk, because he's also coming back for her origin story. I think the reason why they did the preview that way, though, was because they didn't want to spoil the Abomination's new look before the Shang-Chi movie came out. So why is Abomination fighting in this Mortal Kombat tournament against Wong, and where has he been this whole time? What was he doing during Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame? Here's where we get to the Thunderbolt Ross, Weapons Plus, Contessa Valentina, Val, Madam Hydra, whatever you want to call her, of it all. Also, spoilers for the Black Widow post-credit scene if you haven't seen that, because that's relevant for what's going on with this. Rewind to Falcon and Winter Soldier, we see that Baron Zemo gets thrown in the Raft, which is Thunderbolt Ross's personal prison for superheroes, supervillains, anyone who's too powerful to be kept in regular prison. From Val's connections to Zemo, the fact that she's working for some shady figure inside the US government, it's probably Thunderbolt Ross. We know she's going around recruiting anti-heroes and Marvel villains. So we're all just kind of waiting for her to show up out of the shadows and recruit Abomination for her team. But rewind to 2008 in the Marvel timeline. After the events of the Incredible Hulk movie, both the Abomination and the Leader get arrested by Thunderbolt Ross and thrown in the prison. I know you're asking, where is the Leader? Kevin Feige said that he's still alive in the MCU. The de facto explainer for any big Marvel villain that you haven't seen in a long time and was defeated at the end of a Marvel movie is they're probably chilling out inside the raft. So they could bring the Leader back anytime that they want. But both of them get thrown in the raft where they stay for all of the Marvel Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3 movies. So now you ask, how did Abomination wind up in what seems like Beijing, China, where this fight seems like it's happening? And what is he going to be doing later in the timeline when he shows up in the She-Hulk series? So it's all about the snap, Avengers Infinity War, the 5-year time jump, and Avengers Endgame. A lot of the big twists of Marvel Phase 4 are still turning on what happened with Avengers Endgame. Even the Loki series, which is now teasing the next big Marvel Phase 4 threat in Kang and the Multiverse War, that all started with a big twist from Avengers Endgame. But the idea with the Abomination is that he probably was not snapped and used the confusion that happened while the snap was going on, people being dusted all around him inside the raft, guards as well, to escape, and he just been on the DL running around different countries trying to keep off of Thunderbolt Ross's radar the same way that Banner's Hulk was doing before the events of the first Avengers movie. You have to remember he's a Hulk character, so a lot of what's happening with the Abomination is probably big deep cut Easter eggs for Hulk comic books. The Shang-Chi movie takes place after Avengers Endgame, but before the events of the She-Hulk series and before the events of Doctor Strange 2 because of what's going on with Wong. And the reason why he's probably hiding out in China is because the US government, the military, Thunderbolt Ross wouldn't have jurisdiction there, so as long as he's not causing trouble for the Chinese government, they're not going to touch him. So Abomination is probably only in the movie for a little while, not a major character, like he takes off on the run again and then shows up again during the events of the She-Hulk series. Like he beats Wong's ass, then the tournament gets shut down and he just takes off running again so that he doesn't get caught. And it's probably during the She-Hulk series later in the timeline when they'll reveal that he's either already working for Val, Madame Hydra, just like Yelena Belova has been, like John Walker, US agent. It's also implied Baron Zemo's going to be working with her too. And it's just their Thunderbolts team coming together in a bigger way. So it's sort of like them giving the Abomination a version of that John Walker, US agent ending scene from the Falcon and Winter Soldier. I know a lot of you are wondering if one of the Shang-Chi post-credit scenes will be Val showing up to recruit him, but it seems like he's such a minor character, they might just save that scene of her recruiting him for the She-Hulk series. But now talking about the Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness crossover with Wong. So this movie takes place before the events of Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange 2 because both of those two movies are kind of like a 1-2 multiverse punch. But the Shang-Chi movie is supposed to be happening after the events of Falcon and Winter Soldier. So right now, the order of the Marvel shows during Phase 4 goes like this. It starts with Avengers Endgame, then Loki happens, then WandaVision right after that, then the events of the Black Widow post-credit scene with Yelena Belova and Val, then a little while after that, the events of Falcon and Winter Soldier happen, and that's around 6 months after Avengers Endgame. Spider-Man Far From Home takes place about 8 months after Avengers Endgame. The events of the Shang-Chi movie would take place a little while after that, because we know Spider-Man No Way Home takes place the Christmas holiday right after the events of Spider-Man Far From Home. Then the events of Doctor Strange 2 would take place right after that. So there's probably at least a few months between Shang-Chi and Wong's fight here with the Abomination and the events of Doctor Strange 2. Now, the writer of Doctor Strange 2 said that during that movie, they're supposed to be at the height of their powers. That includes Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, and obviously Wong too. So even though everyone's making the sandwich money jokes about Wong, gotta get that sandwich money somehow, it's more likely that he's just fighting in the tournament for fun, just to test himself after Avengers Endgame. Like he has his own hobbies, his own things that he likes to do in his free time when he has it. And after Abomination hands him his ass and he slinks back to the Sanctum, I'm sure Doctor Strange will just make some jokes about it, like, what happened to you? But I think other than just teasing Doctor Strange 2 and teasing Abomination coming back for Thunderbolt's crossover with Val, they also want Abomination to win here to come off super powerful so that it hypes up his rematch with the Hulk during the She-Hulk series. Marvel will also be revealing more of their brand new Disney Plus series that they haven't announced yet later this year, so hopefully at that presentation we'll get some more hints about what's happening with Thunderbolts in the MCU and some of the other big rumors about other series that they're working on. Everyone let me know in the comments, how do you think Abomination escaped the Raft after Avengers Infinity War, and when do you think that Val is going to recruit him for her Thunderbolts team? My full Marvel What If Episode 2 video will post Wednesday just like normal. It's going to be the Black Panther T'Challa Star-Lord episode. Click here for my full Marvel What If Episode 1 video in Easter eggs, and click here for my What If Episode 2 trailer video with Black Panther. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.